Hi, everybody. Welcome to Health Talk. I'm Peter Christian, and we're differing a little bit now in that we are actually on location at Providence St. Patrick Hospital. I'm talking with Joyce Dombrowski. Joyce, good to see you again.
Great to see you. Thanks for the opportunity to have a conversation this morning.
Now, you were on not long after the program started.
Correct.
So remind us again what your title and your duties are.
Certainly. So I am the Chief Acute Services Officer at St. Pat's. That basically means I'm accountable for what happens at St. Pat's, and I am also a nurse.
Okay, and you're also acute.
Acute.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
you made
acute.
me pause.
Okay,
acute.
I got it.
Acute.
Okay, so we are here because as of this morning, it's the scheduled opening of the Family Maternity Center, and this has been a long time coming. I know that when we spoke with Mr. Fee several years ago, this was kind of a gleam, as you will, in many people's eyes as kind of a coming all full circle with Providence St. Patrick Hospital, because many years ago, for instance, I have friends who were actually born,
yes,
in the old Broadway
yes.
building, right? So if you could tell us a little bit of the history of how we got from there to here.
Sure. We stopped delivering babies in the early 1970s. Whole lot of reasons behind that, far earlier than I was at St. Pat's. But it made some sense at the time, and the Sisters of Providence made those kind of decisions. And much like here we are today, it makes sense for us to get back into delivering babies. We have really spent a lot of time before we made that decision again here in 2015. Certainly the planning has occurred 12, 18, 24 months previous to when we opened. There's a lot that goes into opening a new service. We wanted to be deliberate, of course, and we're really committed to doing it well. I can't speak to necessarily why St. Pat's decided that they didn't need to do it in the 70s, but we certainly do need to do it today, and we're excited that, in fact, yes, today is the day that we are open for business, if you will. So
if you would just describe, obviously this is where babies are going to be born. So
yes.
if you could just kind of take us through the overall level of what kind of care you're going to offer and what kind of services and things that are going to be offered here.
Certainly. So the Family Maternity Center was named that way by design because we really want to encourage and understand that families are a part of this really happy situation. And the rooms then are designed as LDRP. Don't need to remember that acronym, but that really means that the mother labors and delivers and recovers all in the same room, all in one stay, and the rooms are large enough that their significant other and family members are encouraged to stay and be a part of the entire experience, knowing that really delivery of a baby is part of a healthy woman's experience. It's not necessarily medical. However, having said that, there are many women who really want the opportunity to be close to medical services or providers should an unforeseen circumstance occur. So our unit is connected to the main hospital, but really disconnected in that when you come into the unit, it has a very different feel. It's I would say sort of a homey feel, some very soft colors, all of the wonderful amenities. And at the same time, it's backed up by all of the technical clinical expertise that St. Pat's is known for, and that, of course, we would offer the same in this program.
So back in my day,
yes.
if I can show my horrible age here, of prehistoric times, husbands would stay out in the hall,
that's right,
pace back and forth and get cigars and all that kind of stuff, and people would come by and pat them on the head and say how brave they were.
Wow, but that has been a long time ago.
But it sounds to me like this is something that you really encourage husband, wife, mom, grandmas, grandpas. Now, is there any sort of a prohibition on some smaller children, or do you want the whole family in there, or is that up to the family?
That's always up to the family, and it always is situation by situation in terms of what makes sense to the laboring mom. Laboring moms sometimes have a plan, put a plan together they want to follow, and sometimes as their labor is progressing along, that plan sort of changes. So we have to be flexible, but it certainly isn't, pardon me, those days of the cigar dads out in the waiting room. Hasn't been actually for quite some time in
Sure.
obstetrics. But we're really designing it with that family in mind, knowing that the mother is a part of the family and generally wants to have and experience something with others who are important to her.
And you're starting a brand new tradition here in that people can be born here and they can receive care for their entire life.
That's correct.
At this facility.
That's correct.
So what kind of thought and planning went into that long-range effort? Because it may start here, but you've got a whole
Absolutely.
lot for people to experience
Absolutely.
here at Providence St. Patrick Hospital.
Well, we'd like to say that we've been doing really that pediatric to the end of life care for forever, for as long as we've been in existence. But it became more and more critical to us as we start talking about the health of the individual over the course of their lifetime, that a key component that was missing was really the opportunity to care for a mom delivering a baby as well as to care for those babies. So you're right in that it does round out our services. It allows us to call ourselves a full-service hospital. But beyond that full-service hospital label is the opportunity to work with accountable care organizations and those organizations interested in population health to say we do offer from birth to death services. And we know that that's what individuals are expecting as they either go on the insurance exchange and purchase their insurance, or as they're thinking about their own families and their own health care. To have one place to go for all of that, it becomes even more and more critical. So, again, a really great reason for us to get back into this business.
Now, when you talk about the facilities themselves, obviously you have labor and delivery.
Yes.
But what if there are some complications,
Sure.
Things like a cesarean section, things like that?
Sure. So in any obstetric unit, you have to really plan for the worst, and that's sort of a hard thing to talk about in OB, because it always is. We want to talk about the fun and the happiness involved in the deliveries, but you have to be clinically prepared. So we do have a dedicated OR suite on the unit on the third floor where we could do a planned C-section or an unplanned C-section. We do have a nursery that has room for 3 babies, and we can offer babies a level of care that's, I would say, above. There's all these nomenclatures that you can trip over, 1, 2, 3, and 4, honestly. And as we've worked with our pediatricians and our obstetricians, we've said we will be prepared to provide care for babies if they need some interventions. But once they reach a level of complexity, we will transfer those babies to community medical center. We've been very open about that. We think that's a very smart way to be in this community, much like we do get very sick heart patients from community. It's in a similar vein of understanding really what our limits are at this moment and really what the capacity is at community. So that is very physician and certainly nursing driven. And we'll make those decisions as we move through each mom's delivery and assessment of what they need. So
have you had people contact you who are, as you will, in the final stages?
Yes, we have.
Hey, so they're anxious for you to open for business,
yes,
right?
we have. Honestly, those women who've contacted us have done so through the obstetricians who have privileges here at St. Patrick Hospital. Those obstetricians are long-term partners at the Western Montana Clinic, and they made the decision to move their practice over here, and that was a critical part of our planning about a year ago. And so they have over 90 years of experience between the 3 of them who are practicing today, and they are being joined by a new partner within a couple of weeks. And so we know that there are some patients who sort of pick where they want to go and then ask their physician if they can, and that's very acceptable. But I would say, again, in this case, the patients are coming here because they've already developed a relationship with those physicians, and it's part of their planning for where they'll deliver.
And I would think it would be kind of fun for someone whose grandparents or uncles or aunts who were born here many years ago to say, hey, let's pick up this tradition here and have our babies, from here on in, all be part of St. Pat's.
It's sort of funny that you would mention that, because we've put the word out internally to see how many of our employees were born here. And I'm thinking that number is getting close to 50. I mean, we may have not hit everybody, and everybody may have not responded, but we thought it would be good to understand from our employee perspective what it must feel like to work here and have been born here, and then to be a part of bringing it back.
We're going to take a little break, come right back with more of Health Talk in just a moment. Stay with us. Okay, we're back on Health Talk. I'm Peter Christian, and we're actually at Providence St. Patrick Hospital right now talking with Joyce Dombrowski, and we're talking about the grand opening, and it's opening today, of the Family Maternity Center. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about access to the center, because I know when I've gone and visited friends in various parts of the hospital, some parts are open for visitors, there are visiting hours. But tell me the the way things are going to work in the Family Maternity Center?
Certainly. So our Family Maternity Center is located, as I said, attached to the hospital, but really sort of in the center of our complex, if you will. So close to some of the medical offices to the south, and really then attached to the hospital towards the north. It makes for a really wonderful place, and it also allows us to provide the level of security in an obstetric unit that's demanded these days. Again, as you talked about smoking cigars when with your birth experience, the desire and the demand for mother and infant security really across the country is really greater than when we were in it. Certainly in the 1970s, it just increases. And so we have a very sophisticated infant security system that exists in that unit specifically for that unit, and it includes proper identification of the staff, proper badging of the staff, so not just anyone can get into that unit. We do have someone sitting at the front 24/7 to be able to buzz mothers in, right, who don't have the security but really can visually see. We have 24/7 monitoring of outside of the unit and inside of the unit, so the security is very high. And I think that's important for individuals to know. I think there's sort of a sense of worry as a first-time mom when you have a baby and you read stories in the media about, babies unfortunately leaving institutions in not a good way, and that's not going to happen here. I mean, I would just share with you, I cannot personally get into the unit myself. I have to be buzzed in, and I think that's really good because we're really educating our internal staff, but we're really wanting to educate our moms and families that their security is of utmost importance to us as well. And so that's what we've done. It's called a HUGS system. I couldn't tell you what HUGS stands for, but that's the name of the security system.
Well, I like the acronym.
No doubt.
It certainly is friendly.
Right.
Now, when it comes to grandmas and grandpas who they know the baby's just been born, they can't wait to see him or her or them.
Correct.
For multiples, whatever. So how does that work for them to have access?
Certainly.
Is it going to be a viewing area or what?
That's a great question, in that we still had some staff that thought that we were going to have a nursery with the windows and you could walk by and look at the babies. And that was really sort of fun. But in the interest of privacy and security at this time, that doesn't exist. The babies will be either with mom, and ideally with mom and in the room, or if they need some specialized nursing care in that nursery for just a short period of time. So if grandma and grandpa want to come, we will know that from the mom and significant other or spouse up front. We would know to expect them. We would get the names and numbers, and then we would educate. All of that is educatable information ahead of time, so that when grandma comes, she knows where to go, how to get buzzed in, who to ask for. In other words, that she wants to see her daughter, we'd need to have the information. And the daughter, in this case, my case scenario, would need to have signed so that we know that she knows that it's okay for grandma to come in. Sort of amazing the things that you have to put in place to make sure everybody is on the right page. The beauty of labor and delivery is that you do have some time to create those conversations and those documents and expectations. We do offer virtual tours, but we do offer tours for moms and their significant others, so they can sort of see how it's going to look, and then that will help them educate their visitors, if you will. Honestly, Peter, we believe that preventative care and pregnancy care has gotten fairly sophisticated, that moms are healthy and come in healthy and with a plan. And it's just not the days of the mom staying in the hospital for days on end with that baby. When they're clinically ready to go and baby's ready to go, they'll be gone. I'm not going to suggest that we're on a short track in any way, but we're really trying to be flexible to what the mom wants to do. And so I'm not sure how many moms will be in here all that long to have a whole lot of visitors come to see them. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
That's actually been the practice for quite some time.
Yes.
And it's important to note that it's not the insurance company standing over you with the whip. That's
exactly
saying,
right. That's right.
This is something that's best for the mother and the baby.
Correct. That's correct. And I always use those words, when they're clinically ready. So that means that we're comfortable that they're ready to go clinically, as well as knowledge for what they need to do to take appropriate care of their baby, that they have the right car seat, fit in the car appropriately. I mean, that's a big piece. The discharge is a big deal, but when you get back to visitors, I sort of wonder myself, I bet by the time grandma gets on the plane and gets here, mom will be home.
We're going to take a little break, come right back with more of Health Talk here in just a moment. And we're back on Health Talk. I'm Peter Christian, of course, talking with Joyce Dombrowski. We are celebrating the opening of the Women's and Children's Services, but also the Family Maternity Center. Now, one thing that's important is becoming a mom doesn't come with an instruction book.
That's right.
But you do have classes.
Yes, we do.
So tell us
yes,
about
we
this.
do. That's a great point. We spend a lot of time and energy focusing on the labor itself, and of course that's a critical piece. But in order for the labor to go well, we really know that the education and the preparation of the mom, significant others, and siblings is critical. So we do have childbirth education classes. Those are on our website in terms of when they are and where they are. And you can go to a series in the evenings, or you can choose to go to some on the weekend. And we've really designed them to be as, I would say, as convenient for the differing schedules that we know that women have out there. A part of that is what to expect really in the laboring process and what to expect in the pregnancy process, because we like to get to those young pregnant women early. Mm-hmm. It will include some of the things I've already talked about in terms of our own units, security in our own units, the way that we're going to care for them. But it also gives them ample time to ask questions, to understand the trimesters or the three-month periods of pregnancy, what they can expect, and then what are some of the options for them as they enter the labor and delivery, and what about when that baby is born? What happens afterwards? How am I best prepared to be a mom to take great care of my child? Because we know that's what women want, but it can become overwhelming, and you can walk home with a book, but really if you don't have an opportunity to have talked through it or really think about it, that we're just not doing a great service. So design classes so that young moms at similar stages of pregnancy can ask questions, talk to each other, create some great relationships. Maybe they could be people they could call up afterwards. I mean,
I was going to ask you about aftercare, because you get home and the baby won't nurse, or
exactly.
You get home, or I can't remember. Nobody showed me how to change the diaper. I mean, you know what I mean? Just little things like that that can flummox somebody.
Right. So much of that will be provided in the education classes at the front end, but we do have systems and processes, people on the back end for calls, lactation visits, we call those, when a mom is struggling, have a specific room for the mom to come to. Sometimes it's just a simple phone call. We really want the moms to feel comfortable that they can pick up the phone day and night and ask a question, and they'll get an answer for someone who clearly understands the need and can clearly answer. It isn't just that 18, 24, 36-hour period of time. And at the end of the day, what do we want? We want moms who are satisfied, who walk out with a very healthy baby, who themselves are healthy, and really understand what it's going to take to be healthy into the future. I mean, what do I need to do for the long-term health of my child? What does the mom need to do for their long-term health? And so it's all a piece of that larger conversation of making our communities healthier or taking care of our population.
It just sounds to me like you guys should just absolutely be overjoyed with this. I mean, I realize the joy of having a new baby, but you get to bring the babies into the world. That's got to be especially joyful.
It has created, I would say, a lot of fun and excitement within the organization. As you said, it finally allows us to take care of an individual from birth till death. Those who've worked at St. Pat's many years, there are some still here who can remember when we did deliver babies, and those people are certainly, I would say, the most overjoyed to be here when we're bringing it back. There is a sense of joy, no doubt, with the delivering of a baby, and we've spent a lot of time thinking about what might be that reminder, and that reminder will be a harp playing a beautiful lullaby every time a baby is born here.
Wonderful. All right, so give us a phone number. We can reach you.
You can reach St. Patrick Hospital at 406-543-7271.
Great. And that's going to do it for Health Talk. I'm Peter Christian.